Hey, I'm so sorry about this, but I have to talk about this interview that Donald Trump did with Fox News. So, trigger warning, Donald Trump's gross, ugly face and Donald Trump's terrible voice. But I promise it's not all bad. There's some really good stuff here, so hang with me. This interview signifies a few things that are really important. First of all, this is essentially Fox News announcing to their viewers and to the world that they are officially getting out of bed with Donald Trump. They are no longer in business with him. This, of course, in no way means that Fox News is done peddling propaganda for terrible fascistic politicians. They're probably just going to shift their allegiance to someone as bad as Trump, like Ronnie D. But I'm going to explain at the end of the video why that's maybe not the worst thing, so stick around for that. The other thing that Fox News is saying with this interview to their viewers and to the world is that they, as an organization, have been aware that for the last 7 years, they have been lying to people on behalf of Donald Trump, which of course is something we already have tons of evidence of them admitting to through things like the Dominion lawsuit. But it never hurts to drive home for their viewers that you are watching a news network full of people who knowingly lie to you on a regular basis. Let's get into it.
This is what you said in 2016 about handling this.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning
LOL, laws.
the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law. We also need to fight this battle by collecting intelligence and then protecting our classified secrets. We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified.
Like, he's describing the exact crime that he committed. Like, the only way this clip could be any better is if it was him on the campaign trail in 2016 being like, listen, when I'm president, if anyone is caught using campaign funds to pay hush money to a porn star, I'm putting that person in jail. Seriously, anybody, doesn't matter who, even if it's me. Seriously, even if it's me, I'll put him in jail.
You said that. I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
Well, I did do that.
This
and we
time,
had tremendous. Look, we had the best economy we've ever had. The world has ever seen.
So I love this. So Brett Baer is setting an obvious trap for Donald Trump with this line of questioning, saying like, you said while you were campaigning in 2016 that you were going to hire only the best people. All Donald Trump has to do to avoid falling right into this trap is just say like, well, I wanted to hire only the best people. Unfortunately, some mistakes were made and I had to remedy those mistakes as quickly as possible. But Donald Trump's ego won't allow him to do that, obviously. So he's just like, yeah, I did. And I did hire only the best people. And we created the greatest economy the world has ever seen. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember when the Trump administration in just 4 years made the greatest economy the world has ever seen?
Your Vice President, Mike Pence, is running against you.
Yeah.
Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, she's running against you. Your former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either. You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr, says you shouldn't be president again, calls you the consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called Barr a gutless pig. Your second defense secretary is not supporting you, called you irresponsible. This week, you and your White House called your White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, dumb as a rock, and your first Defense Secretary, James Mattis, the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh Canadian, milquetoast, and multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So, why did you hire all of them in the first place?
Because I hired 10 to 1 that were fantastic.
So two things there. First of all, he doesn't deny it. He's not like, no, you're misquoting me there. He's like, no, yeah, all that stuff happened. All of those people said those things, and I said all of those things about all of those people. And two, his answer to the question, why did you hire all of those people when you said you were only going to hire the best people, when you just said a minute ago that you did only hire the best people. His answer to that question is, the reason why I hired all of those people is because I hired 10 to 1 the best people. What does that mean? What does that mean? I hired those people who I think are losers and the worst because 10 to 1 of the people I hired were actually the best.
First of all, I won in 2020 by a lot, okay? Let's get that straight. I won in 2020.
No, you didn't.
You lost the 2020 election. There were recounts in all of the swing states. There was not significant widespread
We're trying
fraud.
to get recounts, real
There were
recounts, not just numbers of
investigations,
votes
widespread
cast.
corruption. There was not a sense of that. There were lawsuits, more than 50 of them by your lawyers, some in front of
Ready?
judges that you appointed.
Look at Wisconsin.
That came out with no evidence.
Wisconsin has practically admitted it was rigged. Other states are doing the same right now, and it's continuing.
There have been
It was
reviews
a
of
rigged
every
election.
potential case of voter fraud in 6 battleground states, and they found fewer than 475 cases.
You know why?
So just to recap, that man who's saying that our election system is rigged, the man who's been saying that the elections are rigged for the last 7 years, wants your vote in that rigged election system. So yeah, this is obviously disastrous for Donald Trump and his campaign. I think this means that Fox News is seeing the writing on the wall that this man who's been Teflon and bulletproof for the last 7 years is finally probably going to get his comeuppance with how overwhelming the evidence in this indictment is. So they're jumping ship and they're going to go support Ron DeSantis probably. But here's why that's not the worst thing. If Ron DeSantis is the de facto Republican nominee for president in 2024, which it is looking more and more likely like he will be, he will draw a significant amount of Republican voters who understand that the only way to win an election in America is to vote for one of the candidates that the Democratic Party or the Republican Party puts forward as their candidate. But what we know about Trump supporters is there are a lot of them out there who are going to support Trump no matter what. They got the flags, they got the hats, they got the shirts, they probably have him tattooed somewhere on their body. They're on the Trump train till they die, which means that in 2024, the conservative vote in America could be pretty healthily split, which would mean 4 more years of this guy, which is fine, but it also means that these guys lose, which is just so great. All right, that's it. Bye.